Hi folks, my name is Mr. Kuchak and I am your art teacher. Before we begin, let me go over our class rules. We have 3 rules at Elk Lake. Be ready, be responsible, be respectful. We are ready in the art room when we come in, sit in our assigned seats, and get quiet so that we can learn about art. We are responsible in the art room when we follow directions and take care of our supplies, and we clean up any of our messes. We are respectful when we use kind words like please and thank you, and when we value other students' artwork. Supplies you will need for today's lesson. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Hi folks, today we are going to be working on our plan for our self-portrait. This is going to have like the eye line, the nose line, the bottom of the lip line, and also where our ears go and where our neck goes and our hairline. With this paper, please draw as light as you can, because all these pencil lines we want to eventually erase so that we have a nice clean drawing. Now the paper that I'm using is a little bit bigger, and this will be the paper that you're using when you're in class. If you're doing this at home, you could use a smaller piece of paper, but I have larger paper and this is going to work better for the size of the face that we're going to do in school. But if you're at home and you don't have access to that big paper, just a regular piece of copy paper will be perfectly fine. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get our paper. Now there's 2 different ways that we can, let me just slide back a little bit, that we can fold our paper. We can fold our paper this way, or we can fold it from the top down. We do want it so that it comes together like a card. Now, the tricks that I have, please line these up the best you can and then hold on to it. Hold on to it and just kind of run your hand until it settles down a little bit. Once it settles down a little bit, then you can do a nice crisp, clean fold. Once you have that done, then we need to take one of these and we're going to fold it down to the bottom. So I'm going to hold it sideways because I can see that a little bit better. You can see I'm lining that right up. Once I have that lined up, then I'm going to put that flat on the table and I'm going to squish it. So I just take it and I squish it right down. So this way I have one folded down, one folded up. Now this one also has to get folded down, but what I found was if we try to go over the top, what happens up here is that gap keeps it from sitting nice and flat. So what I do is I take it the other way. So I take it down to the back and I will just line that up. I'll put it flat on the table and then I will make sure it's a nice clean, crisp fold. This way we have definite spots in there. So when you look at it sideways, it makes the letter M. Now we're going to flip one of these up. So I'm going to flip this back piece up. So then I have one piece forward and one piece tall. Now I need to switch my camera so that I can show you the next part. In class, we would be using a face plan that looks like this. So we have the size of the head, we have where everything goes. If you don't have one, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to get this straightened up no matter what. So whether or not you have one of these, or if you don't have one and you're doing this at home, I will show you 2 ways to do this. So let me move my camera and then we'll get you started. Okay, with this next part, please remember, use a pencil. I'm going to be using a Sharpie so that you can actually see what I'm doing, but we want you to press really light so that your things are barely there, that you can see them, but you don't have to worry about them. Worry about erasing that much. Now, you can see if I put this paper right behind there, the head kind of sticks off of the paper. That's okay. So what I do is I just put the paper right behind there and then I press my paper down. And by pressing it down, and I'll draw with pencil, but then I'll go over it with Sharpie, I can kind of see through this paper and I am going to trace out just my hairline, where my ears go, where my eye box is, and I'm also going to do my dashy. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to dash down, dash across, so dashy, across, and down. Don't worry about the headline. So that big line that's going up that way, don't worry about that because that's all going to get covered. That would all be colored in here. So that you can see what I did. I did the tops of the ears. I also did the eye line that runs all the way across from one ear to the next. I did my dashy dashy. So that I know where my eyes are going to go. And then I did my hairline. You don't have to do the headline right now. If you find that it's easier to put it in there, just once again, draw it super light, but it'll look like your hair is going off the paper. Perfectly fine, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. So what happens if you are not in class and you don't have one of these handy dandy papers? Then what you can do then is this. So let me just get set up for that. What we have to do is we kind of have to find the middle of our paper. Once we know where the middle of our paper is, things are a lot easier. So what I do is I just do a simple little fold, and I'm not trying to squish it down too hard. I'm just going to fold it right there, a little point, so that I know where it is. Now, once I know where that is, then I'm going to use 3 fingers, and the 3 fingers will let me know where the eye box needs to go. Remember, please use pencil. This way you have your space. You can draw out your eye box in there. It's just like the letter I sideways. And then we are just going to do the tops of our ears. Tops of our ears. Once we have that done, we want to go through dashy dashy. And then we are going to do our hairline, and our hairline is just a rainbow. So that's all you need to do if you don't have that paper at home. Now, once you have that done, and this doesn't matter with each one, I'll just go back to this one, but then I'll show you once again, that finding that middle is very, very important. So once we have that drawn out, then we are going to work on the paper that's closest to us, the one that kind of flips up right now. So we are going to find the middle, we're going to come all the way down, we're going to make a little dot, and then we're going to come up near the top, and we're going to make a dot there too. So dot, dot. That bottom dot is going to connect right up into our ears. So we're going to come right up here, we're going to go up, 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 and we're going to come up, 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 up. Once we have that done, it kind of looks like our chin, and now we're ready for the top part. So the top part curves down, curves down. So what we have right now is we have a person, and they're wearing a mask. We will get into the face and stuff once I show you how to do this again on the next paper. But this is why we had to fold our paper, so then we can have a mask and we can have a face. So once again, we're going to start here. I'm going to find the middle, and what's nice is I know right where the middle is because I used that before, and then I'm going to come down near the bottom. And then I'm going to come up and connect, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to connect. Once I have that connected, then I come across, and I come across. That way we have our mask in there. Whoops. So if we turn it this way, you can see there's the mask, and then we'll do our next part. So our next part is going to be putting in where our nose box needs to go, where our mouth box needs to go. So I open up my paper, and if I have this paper right here, the nice thing is I can hold it up, and I can slide it right over where it landed last time, and I can just put the rest of my stuff in there. So I'm just going to draw with Sharpie so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just tracing around where the chin would go. I'm drawing in where the eye box would go, the nose box. I'm going to draw in where the neck goes. And the neck, I'm just going to come down to that fold. Don't go below that fold. And then I'm going to draw in where the nose box is. And then the bottom lip line. So now that I have all of that done, you are good for today. So you have where the face is going to go. We're going to draw that out next time. And then we have our mask on there too. So next time we'll go over how to draw out the eyes, nose, mouth, and we'll kind of keep going from there and there and there. If you did not have this handy dandy paper at home, let me show you how to do the next part. So with this next part, since we don't have that, then what we need to do is we find where the middle is. Oops. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. So we find where the middle is, and not at the bottom because that's where some of our neck's going to go. But maybe do 2, maybe 3 fingers from the bottom, and we're just going to make a tiny little mark. That little mark, that little dot, is going to line up with our kind of ear over here. So we just kind of come down like we did with the mask, and we connect. We come down and connect. And then we can add our ears down and over. Down and over. We now know where our neck comes out. Now we need a few things. We need our nose box. So the bottom of the ears, that's where your nose is going to go. And then halfway between this is your bottom lip line. So we do our bottom lip, bottom lip. Remember, draw it out in pencil. I know it looks a little shortened. I know it looks a little kind of squished in there, and that's because our hair is going to go up here, and it's probably going to go off the paper. And we only have where our hairline is, so that's why it looks a little bit more shrunken than it normally does. But this way you have your mask, you have your face, and that way next class we will be able to start drawing in our features. So good luck with that. If you get stuck, rewatch the video, and have a good night.